Did you know that when you love yourself for who you are, others tend to also love you for who you are? Not everyone, but the ones that you attract because your authentic essence is what they were attracted to. This new moon solar eclipse in Leo is exactly about that. It's bringing the microscope to our relationships.
Welcome back to the Aquarius podcast, your cornerstone for astrology and psychology.
Leo is about dignity, honor, and pride. It's a frequency of being comfortable with yourself because you know you're amazing. Like the sun, it's dominant. It takes space. It illuminates. It shines indiscriminately, blesses everyone with life. Leo, being ruled by the sun, gives love automatically. It's who they are. This energy naturally creates. It doesn't give love for the accolades, although it does appreciate it. But when it's in its low vibration state, what happens is we start to perform to get the sun when we were already the sun. This new moon solar eclipse is happening under Basalmic moon. Spiritually, Basalmic moons are about purification, but that purification of love only happens after we've taken some time to examine, incubate ourselves, and really reflect. What is love in partnership? What does that look like for me? How do I demonstrate that? How am I willing to receive that? After that examination, we then have to prepare ourselves for a new kind of love. That preparation requires that we close chapters in our lives that are not loving. And that transformation, if we're willing to go on that journey, will bring about a renewal of spirit because now we're clear again about what's love and what's abuse, or what's love and what's neglect, and what's love or what's a performance. That clarity then brings purification, which is our new state of being. It's our new frequency. So whenever we meet people who are not at this frequency, they're not attracted to us and we're not attracted to them because that is the new standard. It's about refusing to negotiate your standard of love. It's about owning that you are worthy and deserving of love. And it's about having expectations of yourself and how you treat yourself because you love yourself, and how you treat others because you love yourself.
The relationships we have in our lives are our karma. They are a physical manifestation of the relationship we have with ourselves. In astrology, Leo rules over the heart, which is about love. Leo gives love naturally. The sister of Leo, Aquarius, is about brotherly love, which is about sharing love. Love is about giving and returning. That's what makes it eternal. When the giving never stops and the receiving never stops and the returning never stops, love never dies. However, when the giving begins to create instability and security, or when we ourselves feel insecure in our ability to provide love for ourselves, it compromises that process of giving, receiving, and returning. In good faith, when love is pure, it returns you back to your essence because pure love honors you. It sees you, it feels you, it loves you simply because you are. Watching you shine makes it come alive. So naturally, it protects you because it loves to see you shine brightly. Love is not a performance. It is a devotion.
When you're loved in partnership for who you are, you don't have to perform worthiness. You can simply be, just like the sun. How much of our identity is wrapped up in this concept of love? What is love to you? This new moon solar eclipse in Zodiac sign Leo is wanting us to really pay attention to relationships that actually bring stability.
Love is about self-expression. It's about being your authentic, childlike self. It's about joy. It's about honoring your desires. It's about being in your element, free to be who you are. Love is not a performance. It is a devotion to honoring your soul in its most authentic expression. When I love you, I desire you in a way that makes me want to witness you. Leo is a natural performer because they love to elicit joy. Leo loves to make you happy because he makes them happy to make you happy. And the way Leo goes about giving love is about sharing the love they have for themselves with you. And when they do that, you often return the love that you have for them back to them. So the cycle never ends. Love is a pattern of behavior. It is a practice.
of honoring the other in a way that sustains their balance. When we love, we seek to provide justice and fairness to them. This new moon happening at the Taurus degree is bringing into focus how love, when it's real, provides security, stability, and at its highest state, protection. Venus being in Libra right now is going to make this significant. The scales of balance are being readjusted in partnerships where the love is not being equally distributed. If you found yourself caught up in romantic relationships, business relationships, intimate relationships where the give and take is not balanced and where it's feeling as though you have to perform in order for you to get love over the next 6 months, especially with Saturn currently being retrograde in Aries, you're going to have to make a decision about recalibrating your relationship with yourself when it comes to how you love yourself and how you allow others to love you. Now let's go on to the horoscope for all 12 zodiac signs. Aries rising, you already know how to build things by yourself from the ground up. This transit is asking you to create from this place of authenticity. Yes, it's going to take more time. Yes, it's going to be more work on you, but it's going to bring you more joy in the long term because it's going to be an authentic expression of you. So your creativity is asking you to ground it in your authentic essence in terms of the legacy you came to leave on earth. Taurus rising, for you, this transit is asking you to resolve issues regarding your home life. There is a lot of buried emotional issues in your 12th house, issues that healing requires, and that work needs to happen privately, right? The 12th house is about privacy. This eclipse, however, is going to bring at the forefront a new emotional awareness. And this awareness is coming to you from behind the scenes. Okay? This is an opportunity to see things clearly for what they are in terms of how much of your childhood is still a part of how you do love now, and how much of that is no longer beneficial to you. Gemini rising, for you, this falls in the 3rd house. This is a house of communication. Gemini is a natural communicator. What this new moon is asking you to investigate is how communication helps build connection in terms of social connections and friendship, and how communication can also destroy them. So this is an opportunity for new connections for you, new conversations. Um, but the goal is to align with people who share similar long-term goals, not just create noise in your life or people who distract you from the pain of life, but people who are intentional about what they say, how they say it, what they want, how they use their time, because those people can help you actually build your life. Cancer rising, for you, this falls in the 2nd house, which is the house of self-worth and self-esteem. This reset for you is around your relationship with yourself and how it affects your finances. Oftentimes, when the eclipse falls in the 2nd house, it's really about not seeing your abundance clearly. It's about being so stuck in survival mode that you don't see that you're already abundant. And because you don't see it, your self-worth is low and you feel like you have to continue to overperform for the abundance you already have. You are already professionally stable. You're already financially stable. It's a matter of using discipline to bring your emotions back to logic whenever they start lying to you about you being worthless. Leo rising, for you, the eclipse falls in your 1st house, which is the house of identity. It's also the house of the ego. It's the house where we do before we think. You're being asked to spend some time investigating your belief system, your relationship with spirituality, with growth. This is very personal for you, and because it's requiring more wisdom and more knowledge than what you have put forth in the past. Okay, this new you who's going to be even more wonderful than who you are right now is a you that is not as impulsive. It's a you that is grounded in the truth of your identity. Because when you're grounded in the truth of who you are, you don't do it for the accolades. You don't perform it. It's yourself. It's something that you are. It's not something you put forward. Allow your lived experience and the knowledge that you have about how the world works and your curiosity about knowledge that you don't currently have to guide this new journey of you redefining yourself, to align it with both your light and your darkness. Sometimes ego makes us think that we're perfect and we don't have flaws, but none of us are. We all have problems. We all have weaknesses. We all have shadows. So this transit is really asking you to embrace it because there's power. There's power in owning your limitations, your vulnerabilities, your shadows. Because when you do that, no one can tell you who you are. You already know, and you lead with that. Virgo rising, for you, this eclipse falls in your 12th house, which is the house of karma in astrology. Saturn also being in your 8th house, the house of Scorpio, another karmic zodiac sign, is going to make this transit deep for you. There's going to be a lot of inner transformation happening around your relationship with fears, your fears, with power, with control, your relationship with resources, intimacy, with love. I would recommend taking some quiet time for you to really reflect on how you show up in partnership because a real transformation is not going to be obvious. It's going to be happening in the messages you send yourself about what you deserve, what you're capable of. Oftentimes, when we don't believe that we can have access to that which we desire, we start to think we have to manipulate and control to get it. It's like, I have to do these things to have this. A person who believes they deserve love does not manipulate and control others to obtain it. They know they're worthy of it. So whenever others do not return back the love they give, they know those are not my people because my people know my worth. I don't have to impress them. This is really about you deconstructing psychologically your relationship with yourself and how that shows up in your pursuit of love relationships, whether it's romantic or business relationships. Libra rising, with Venus being in Libra right now, this is going to hit your relationships, both your friendships and your romantic relationships are being highlighted. There is an opportunity to build new long-term connections that feel stable and committed and that bring you security. The price you have to pay for that future circle is for you to show up consistently as yourself when you're in partnership, okay? Not with goals or agendas or excitement, but with presence. And the more you do that, the more you would nurture an environment where it's okay for everybody to be who they are. And when you start putting on that energy, the people who are attracted to you don't come in seeking to impress you. They come in seeking to be because you also are. So some of your intimate relationships might change under this transit, and it's not necessarily bad. It's to bring you in harmony with authentic love because when it's pure, it won't leave you in a deficit. Scorpio rising, this eclipse falls for you on the 10th house, which is the house of Capricorn. This is a karmic placement. And with you already being a karmic zodiac sign and the eclipse season being karmic, this transit is going to affect you very deeply. For you, it's going to fall in the area of your management of your health and your well-being and how that should be the foundation for your work, your public image, your career, your soul's purpose. A career that is rooted or grounded in health and wellness has roots because the priority is taking care of yourself. When the priority is taking care of yourself, love is what leads the way. But when the priority is taking care of others, martyrdom is not too far from there. Okay, your work ethic isn't just about your ambition, it's about your soul's calling. And whatever you believe in, whatever gods you believe in, or the universe, source, spirit, whatever you believe in, this power that brought you here to earth, brought you here to love yourself beautifully so you can be loved whole. And in order for you to be loved whole, you have to be whole. And wholeness, and as well as health and wellness, are connected. This is why Virgo, the ruler of the sixth house, rules over purity, because wholeness is about purity. And purity isn't about being without flaws, it's about being actively engaged in the management of the flaws, actively engaged in the management of the side effects of the flaws in our lives and the lives of others. A person who is not even aware that they have shadows of flaws is certainly not doing any of this, because they never think they're the problem, they think they're perfect. A person who's aware understands every light has a shadow. And the shadow for you under this transit is to prioritize others' well being over your own and to not make your health and wellness a priority. And when we do that, the impact that we are supposed to have on the world, right, is diminished, because that impact starts with ourselves. We are the sun. So the more we invest in the self, in the sun, the more brightly we shine. Sagittarius rising, for you, this eclipse falls in the ninth house, which is the house of Sagittarius. So you're going to be at home with this awareness of new truths about who you are, your worldview, your desire for travel, for expansion, for freedom. Saturn, being in your fifth house, has already gifted you some information about your need to reconnect with joy, with pleasure, with your childlike essence. You're being invited to explore a new philosophical relationship with yourself that's rooted in creativity. The romance, the pleasure that you're seeking in intimate relationships and friendships or business partnerships has to be rooted in truth, in a desire to investigate what you don't know about yourself and become more comfortable with your shadows. Okay? It's about nurturing a relationship with yourself that allows you to change, to transform, to grow, to expand your horizons, to blossom, to learn new things, to try things that make you feel uncomfortable, only for the pleasure of learning something new. When we stop learning, we start dying. We came here to learn, to grow, and to develop. So, under this new moon transit, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is start to see yourself as a creative, because we all are. We all came from the creator because we are creatives and we came to create things here on earth. Everyone came here with a purpose. Once you accept that you are a creative, create a routine, a schedule that allows you to practice your creativity as a form of self expression. Leo is self expression. There is no love without a voice. Owning your voice is loving yourself. Capricorn rising, for you, this eclipse falls in the eighth house, the house of Scorpio. This is also a karmic transit for you because it's bringing to light ancestral patterns, deep emotional wounds that are affecting, your emotional stability. If you did not acquire a lot of foundational items growing up that allowed you to recognize what it feels like to be emotionally safe, to feel emotionally stable, it can be hard to practice that. Emotional stability is a practice because the fourth house is ruled by the moon. The moon is vastly changing. It's the fastest planet in the world of astrology. And the volatility of the moon is about securing a foundation. This is why Cancer and Capricorn are sisters. Your foundation holds you steady when life is transforming around you. When we don't have that foundation, when life is transforming, we feel threatened. We feel unsafe. We might even feel scared. And then that fear turns into control. And that control destroys intimacy in relationship. It destroys safety in relationship, the very thing we were seeking. Leo wants you to develop some discipline around how you manage yourself emotionally so that your relationships feel safer. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you trust them. You trust that they're going to work out because you invest in nurturing your roots. You invest in rituals, daily rituals that bring you back to yourself in an emotionally safe, nurturing, motherly kind of way. A Capricorn not rooted in motherly love is a very dry place. And love does not grow in dry places. Love is about life. Life requires moisture. There's very little life in the desert compared to a forest that is receiving routine and adequate rain. Okay? Love, water, right, needs nurturing, gentleness, tenderness, and that's a practice for you to get into. Aquarius rising, this eclipse falls in your seventh house, which is the house of partnership. This is a house ruled by Libra. With Saturn in a third house, you're being asked to communicate more cleanly in your partnership. It's about grounding your communication with discipline, not just honest communication, but mature communication, meaning we use words with an understanding of the impact they might have on others. This foundation is going to help you build more stable relationships because when your words are being calibrated for your audience and for the impact that you want to have and for how you want to be received, that come with stability, that come with security, that come with grounded energy, which is what Taurus is, the most grounded zodiac sign in astrology. Your transformation around intimacy in your relationship is directly connected to your transformation around how you communicate in relationship and how you interpret relationships. With Saturn currently being retrograde in Aries, it's about being willing to listen much more than we're willing to talk. A lot of intimacy is built from being willing to receive the other's point of view, even if it's not the one we hold or the one we perceive. The beauty of partnership is that someone else gets to shine a light on your darkness. The things you don't see about yourself, the person you're married to sees it. The person you're in an intimate relationship with sees that. The person you're in a close friendship with sees that. The good and the bad. Communication is how we get to understand ourselves better and one another better. So when we start using communication as a tool of discovery of what's going on with ourselves and others, it brings more awareness, which then brings more intimacy and more tenderness in the connection because we're no longer operating from a place of, I understand the full picture, but rather from a place of, let's share notes and see where we land. That is what partnership is about, giving and receiving. Lastly, Pisces rising, for you, this eclipse falls in the sixth house, which is the house of Virgo. It's calling you back to your routine around your spiritual health, your financial health, your physical health, your emotional health, your psychological health. Saturn being in your second house has already brought you some information because it's separating now about your value, your self-worth, and how that affects your finances or the things, situations, and people that you consider valuable. It's a fresh new start for you, and this new start requires discipline around habits, patterns that are no longer healthy. Okay? It's about moving into a more stable future, and that stability, whether financial or emotional, requires that you align with your values. What do you love about yourself? What do you care about? What's meaningful to you? What makes your heart sing? What makes you come alive? Once you identify what your principles are, your values, then you want to align that with behavior, a discipline that honors that. So, as an example, if I say one of my values is I admire people that are emotionally healthy, then I have to be emotionally healthy, right? Because I can't be in partnership with someone that's emotionally healthy if I'm emotionally unhealthy, because it's not stable. Partnership is about balance. So, if it's true that emotional health is a value of mine, then what that means is that I prioritize it, and I prioritize it with myself. I go to therapy. I have someone that I talk to about my problems who helps me figure things out. I journal as a way to talk to myself about my problems. I may do grounding exercises. I may meditate. I may engage in other activities that I find very healing to my spirit. So, our values are demonstrated by the habits that we create around them, the system we create to uphold them. That was just an example. Someone who prioritizes their well being will have a routine that honors that. So, your new beginning asks you to create a routine around your values so you can give yourself value. Because when we make decisions that align with our authentic selves and our true self worth, we're already feeding our souls. We're already feeding our soul what's nourishing. And when we go through life from this place of feeding ourselves what we value, we no longer see others as a meal ticket. We no longer see others as a solution to our lack of self worth, our lack of self love, because we understand that we can give it to ourselves. We no longer pursue relationships for the sake of being put on a pedestal or putting others on the pedestal because it feeds this, yearning for love that's missing in us. What this eclipse is asking you to do is to be the agent of love in your own heart, as demonstrated by your habits. And the more you align what's in your heart with the things that you do, your habits, the more fulfilled you will be, because the more you will trust yourself. You would trust your ability to care for yourself. To summarize, this new moon solar eclipse in Leo is asking you to reclaim your visibility, reclaim your power, reclaim your presence. And it starts with the people in our lives and the things in our lives that bring us stability and the ones that do not bring us stability. Love, when healthy, brings security, and at its highest state, protection. Venus in Libra is asking you under this transit to reset the scales of balance in your love relationships, business, or romance. Review the contract you have in your love relationship and adjust your behavior by reclaiming energy that you've given abundantly that you didn't have to give, or by returning energy that was given to you abundantly. Love is about the sharing of energy, and only those who have love for themselves can engage in the game of love. It has two parts: giving and receiving. The scales of balance cannot operate without honoring both the giving and the receiving of love. How much love each one of us is willing to receive from the universe, from life, God, whatever you want to call it, comes from what we believe we deserve. It comes from our relationship with our self esteem. So, this new moon is in fact about our self worth and how it shows up in our intimate relationships, either to make our life more radiant or to take away our sun. The choice is ours. I wish you the courage to let go of relationships that do not make you shine more brightly. And I wish you the courage to let go of a relationship with yourself that is diminishing. You are, in fact, the love of your life. How well you treat yourself is the blueprint upon which everyone else will treat you. Love is the purpose of life, and it starts with the love of self. Every other type of love comes from the love of self. When Taurus is in its low vibrational state, it believes that having things will make it feel loved. It equates material possessions with love. So naturally, when they don't have the material possessions they desire, they don't feel worthy of love. When really it's the other way around. It's you love yourself, therefore the material possessions come to you for love. Because this entire universe vibrates the highest at love. This is why Pisces is exalted at Venus. Love is the reason for our purpose on earth, and love is the most powerful frequency on earth. Nothing else is more powerful than love, not even hatred. Even though hatred is potent, it does not surpass love in its ability to create life. I look forward to reconnecting with you on August 28th when we will be having a full moon lunar eclipse in Zodiac sign Pisces. Thank you for listening to the Aquarius podcast.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.